This is the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, with Erolai, Kreese, and Mark, bringing you all of your Devo news and talk. Welcome to Season 4, the LDBT era. Now let's start the show.
Welcome everyone to episode 140 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, and I am Mark, and I welcome you to this wonderful time where we get to talk about a lot more than we thought we were going to talk about last week at this time. We've had some surprises, and we'll get to that soon. First of all, someone was asking in chat, HaateXIII, who does our wonderful intro narration for us, if power was okay. All of us who are hosting, our power has been okay. It is very, very cold where I am, and I am under a couple feet of snow, but we're doing okay. Inkwelder, who comes from the Texas area, not comes from, but lives in the Texas area, yes, they have been hit very, very hard. So all of our listeners in the South here in the United States who are without power, without water, our thoughts and prayers are with you, and hopefully things will get back to normal soon. Believe us, us Northerners, there's a big, if you're not familiar, there's a lot of different distance between where I live and where Ink lives, or even where I live and where Arrow and Kreese live. A good 15, 20 plus hours. So we are used to the freezing cold and the feet of snow. Not that we like it, but it is. I live in a forested area, even though I live in a suburban community. I live in a forested area, and so I love it. I mean, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. The trees are you just feel it's just wonderful. But yeah, I know in Georgia where I have family and where Arrow lives, yeah, you get an inch of snow in Georgia, you might as well it's like The Walking Dead. Atlanta's just shut down with half an inch of ice completely. And so when you're not prepared for that, it's even worse. And our friends in Texas are really, really, really struggling. And yeah, we hope they're all okay. I know Ink is okay. Inkwelder from the Tonberry Troupe, he is doing fine. We've been talking to him, and so they are safe. His family is safe, and we just reach out to all of them. Hey, but I'm not alone. I'm joined by my co-host. First, it's Arrow. Arrow, how you doing?
Doing pretty great this week. I've been recording more parts of my Let's Play, which is not Defo related, of The Longest 5 Minutes. Been going good. You guys got to check it out. I voice act all the characters. I'm serious. It's his goal.
Yeah, you should. It's Laylee on YouTube. Leilee, and you definitely should. It's worth watching. My kids were very impressed, Arrow. They enjoyed watching the first episode. We haven't watched the second one yet, so but yeah, they are
updated every other day. I actually have all of them recorded up through Sunday. Oh. So yes, there's 2 more episodes coming out. One is coming out tomorrow, and one will be out on Sunday. So we will be up to episode 5 soon. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm gonna pass it over to the other host now.
Kreese, how are we doing?
It has been a very, very exhausting week for me. I'm tired. There was Mardi Gras on Tuesday, but there was nothing to celebrate, sadly. So I've just been exhausted. That's all I really have to say. Just drained and exhausted this week.
Yes, happy Shrove Tuesday, Mardi Gras, Ash Wednesday. Now we are officially in the Lenten season if you are practitioner of the Christian faith. So happy Lent to all of you. Hey, we have some very exciting news. At least I'm excited by it. Last week we did the Belthier Abyss TCC Challenge, which only banned Belthier and burst phases. And we had for the first time, at least in recent history, of the TCC Challenge, we had no completes until Alhazard or Misselton decided to give it a try and did Lightning, of course, no BT, Vincent pre-LD, and Bosch, and they were able to do it. So congratulations. I told Misselton that they would be deemed the best player in Defo this week, and so congratulations to Misselton. It is Alhazard on YouTube, so go check them out, give them a like, a sub, support them, and like I said, I have dubbed them the best player of DissidiaFFOO this week. Congratulations. Our friend Krile did go and do it as well with Lightning Cater and Pinello, and so we do have 2 champions, and so check out Krile on YouTube as well at the Dystopia channel, where various different people submit runs. So yeah, so great job, guys. Just really, really cool. And I know Heavy Cura did it almost with Bosch, Irving, and somebody else. Bosch, Irving, and who I only and Beatrix. As I watched him do it, try to do it for about 1,000 times. And so he didn't quite get the score, but honorable mention to at least being able to beat it was good. Yeah, Bosch, Beatrix, and Irving. So honorable mention to Heavy Cura, and Heavy Cura streams on Twitch fairly frequently, DissidiaFFOO content. So you can check them out as well. Hey, we're also doing, and I apologize, I have been very, very busy as well. It's just that time of year for me. But we are doing a giveaway for the 3rd anniversary. He beat it, but he didn't get the score requirement, I believe. So we are doing a giveaway, and I am giving away a full set of DissidiaFFOO Play Art mannequins. So Cloud and Squall, they are the mannequin versions of them. Lightning and Zidane and Titus. And so I'm going to give away a full set, all 5 of those, based on, or to enter the contest. I'll do it at the end of the month. To enter the contest, you just need to subscribe to our channel. So if you'd like to subscribe, any subscription, and if you gift a sub, you will be kind of entered in again for every gift sub you give. So the more gift subs you give, the more chances you would have to have your name drawn, and I will send all 5 of these to you as long as you have an address where the mail can get to. And so if you're interested in that, again, hopefully maybe tomorrow on my day off, assuming I get a day off, doesn't always happen, I will be able to put together a little bit of video, or even maybe tonight, depending on how long we go. So if you're interested in that, I want to give those 5 away to a good home and somebody who supports the show as a thank you. I'm thinking of some other things to do as we approach episode 150, some other giveaways, some YouTubes. Just want to thank the community. I put out a really kind of silly speculation video this week, and it's really, really close to 5,000 views. It would tickle me pink if you all go watch it. If you haven't watched it on the Crystal Chronicles podcast channel, it's my Vincent speculation video. And yeah, if it reached 5,000 views, it's at over 4,900 views. Yeah, that's 5 times our subs. Not quite, but it's a lot more than 5 times our Twitch subs. Let me put that. If we had 1,000 Twitch subs, that would be very, very, very good.
I'm still impressed you were able to figure it out. By the way,
I would pay all of you people,
or that you guessed correctly.
Yes, thank you. I did guess correctly. And I was the only content creator brave enough to put my, I didn't put any money on the table, but not just to guess, but to come in and really, really kind of go in and say, yes, this is Vincent. We are getting Vincent. And I doubled down on it. And thank you, HaateXIII, for the 5 gift subs. I'm just going to, I have a little thing here so I can... put that in. But it's really fun. I do this, and most of us do that. We do this for fun. And when something blows up like that, on my smaller YouTube channel, it's really cool. So I did guess Belthier as a potential GL first for anniversary. Yes, correct. But I doubled down on the on the Vincent because of all the wonderful people around me who were also saying it. I just made a stupid video, and shout out to J.A for pressuring me into one of our mods for pressuring me into making a stupid video, which let me tell you the story about this. So I did a wedding this weekend, this last weekend. I've had a busy week. And so I did a wedding on Saturday, and I did the rehearsal on Friday via Zoom. And the wedding couple, to kind of go through the rehearsal, was running late. So they said, hey, we're running 10 minutes, 15 minutes late. Can you just hold on? And I'm like, yeah, I'm down here. And so I'm like, I got 10 minutes. Let's just do this. So I put this video together in like 10, 15 minutes. It's literally the shortest video I've ever put together in the quickest turnaround time I've ever done, and put it up. No, good night. And yeah, it blew up, and that's really fun. That's really cool. So thank you all for that. And yeah, but yeah, if you're interested, just sub to the channel, whether you're a Twitch Prime sub, a Tier 1 sub, or a gift sub, it's all, Soraya, it's made a couple bucks, that's for sure. Not a lot. I don't know if you know how much, how YouTube works, but it's not made a lot of money, but it's made something, which is pretty cool. So yeah. That's funny how that works out. So the lesson I want to just tell you all is, don't put any effort into your stuff. Just throw something out against the wall, and maybe something will stick. Enough for me to make this my day job. Well, I think it's made about $20, and that's hard. It's hard to kind of figure out exactly. But according to the analysis of according to the analysis of YouTube, that video is made about $20. So if you think you can if you think you can quit your job for a $20 video once in your YouTube career, then yeah, go ahead. I know people, content creators don't normally talk about that kind of stuff, but for a niche game like Defo, to be a niche content creator in a niche game, you're not making a lot of money, folks. So, if you want to make money, play Among Us and Fortnite, and
you heard them.
Yeah. So for 10 minutes, that's over $100 an hour. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, thank you, CSDX. Yeah, I mean, that's about how much my time is worth. So, there you go. Hey, we got some news, and the first news is surprise. We knew last week, we talked about it, that there was going to be this 8-day period of no content. And were we really, during third anniversary, going to get no content? Of course, my speculation was, no, there's going to be something. And we knew there was going to be Chocobo panels coming, so that was going to be at least something. But what we got was a vague Twitter announcement, and then a less vague Twitter announcement that, in fact, we were getting a second GL first, and that was Vincent's LD. Vincent came to us, no rework. He was already level 80. No LD boards, but LD and a beautiful costume. And so you can pick that up, and we'll talk more about Vincent here in a little bit. Just talking about the surprise. Arrow, what were you expecting, if anything? And was this anything you were expecting? And how did you feel kind of about the announcement and all that kind of stuff? Without getting into Vincent, we'll talk about him specifically later, but just about the surprise event, the surprise second GL first in 1 month, kind of all that kind of stuff. What are your feelings there?
I was hoping more for just a all boosted character co-op. That's honestly all I expected. I did not expect a second global first. That's where I'm going to leave it. I also wanted co-op reset, so you could get the Greek gem reward again. So
that's always nice.
Co-op and then reset the first time Greek gem thing. That would have been cool. That would have been enough for me to be super satisfied. But we got a global first instead. Not what I expected at all. That's my answer.
Krile, how did that? You've had a busy week too, but how did that play in to your expectations?
We got the suspicion tweets from Joshua, or we got the suspicion stuff from Joshua. I'd been following that, saying to be hype, or this is one of those times where you should be hype for what's coming. So I knew something was around the corner. I was not caught off guard. I did not know exactly what the surprise would be, but I suspect it was probably another LD or Global First LD or something along those lines, because otherwise he wouldn't have said don't, or this is one of those, he would not have said something along the lines of that. So yeah, did I know exactly it was going to be this? I didn't think it was going to be Vincent. I left myself, I left the imagination barren. We'll put it that way. But I knew it was going to be something along those lines. I didn't know what the event content would be the best way to put it. I knew it would be a character attached to that content. Be the best way to put it. So I wasn't surprised because I didn't really have an expectation.
I am an insider. Obviously, I work for Squex, as many of you know, and so of course I expected it. Well, we're going to talk about Vincent in just a few seconds, but we also did get our second third anniversary Chocobo panel missions and our late February Chocobo panel missions. So make sure that you check on those and make sure you get all those. Squex Mark. That's Squex _Mark. Yeah, it's not my dream. I was gonna say, that's my dream job. Nope, it's not actually at all. 100%. So let's talk about the Dateless Rendezvous. It was a kind of Valentine's Day event, and we did get a Valentine, Vincent Valentine, coming here to GL for a GL first LD. If you're not familiar with the Japanese version of the game, which is about 9 months ahead of us, Vincent does not have a rework or a LD or LD boards or anything else, or BT, etc. in JP currently. So Vincent he was with Cloud, our first EX character, right? Or no, he wasn't our first EX character. He was our first EX realization
EX
with Cloud.
And he has not been touched since then.
Yeah, so Vincent,
other than to get his level 80 awakening.
Vincent got his level 80 awakening, but he was one of the very first. He was the first EX realization with Cloud. Most people realized Cloud fully and didn't touch Vincent because we didn't have ingots at that point. So, Black Cloud's clebrating because it sounds like we kind of know what our tier 18 rewards are.
Ingots or nuggets, he's safe.
Yeah. So yes, Drez is saying the rewards. Well, we'll talk about that. I'll log in the game here and figure it out. But let's talk about Vincent. So, Chris, tell us what Vincent got.
Sure. He didn't get much. Yeah. So he got an LD, and that's it. He got an LD. He got an LD ability that gives him a new power. But the LD ability itself is pretty simple. It's an AoE Brave plus AoE HP attack. That's just a double HP dump. It's pretty straightforward. But what it does do is it implies him with a new power called Power of Chaos. While it is active, he gets a huge boost to his attack and max Brave. He applies a passive AoE poison effect to all targets. And if he attacks a target with 2 or more debuffs on them, he follows up all attacks with a new follow-up attack that's basically a big single target attack. And that's it. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's okay. It ups his power to be reasonable, and it brings him to parity is the best way to put it. Is the way I will describe Vincent now. He's a solid-ish character, but he still has the problem where he applies 5 debuffs across his 2 basic abilities plus his EX. He burns through turns really fast with skill 1 and skill 2 because they're both high turn rate. His HP++ is still not a very good attack. It's a 1 AoE Brave plus single target HP attack. It does follow up with the Power of Chaos follow-up attack now, so that's better. But he's still a debuff-hungry character. His attack down is 2 turns, it doesn't get any better. So he still has to reapply that pretty liberally. And I think those are the major tidbits. So he does a lot of damage. Don't get me wrong on that. He does a lot of single target damage, but it's not going to be anything that's really, really out of the ordinary for characters we've seen now recently. And the debuffs are a problem. Arrow, is there anything I'm missing, or did I cover all the key points?
You covered the key points. But, okay, so I'm going to point this out. If you Brave Plus with him, he does do that follow-up too. So that can be tricky if you're wanting him to hold his Brave. Yes, I know he has a sap, but just something to bear in mind. Because if he doesn't get enough off that sap, there's times when breaking can be just awful, and it can lead to, dead runs. There you go. That's all I got to say for the key points.
Mark?
Theologica, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I have Vincent. I have him fully built. I have his Luffania armor. I have perfect arts for Vincent. I have 2 different sets of perfect arts as I wanted to try a couple of different things. I've run him through quite a few of the current Luffanias to try to get a sense of how he plays in this in this current environment. And so there's a lot of controversy around Vincent, and I'll come back to that. There's a lot of Vincent love and hate in chat right now, though kind of erring on the hate in the community in general. But first, there's a couple of things we need to make sure that all of our listeners and everyone watching understands. Vincent's 2 major debuffs are the attack down debuff and the int brave down debuff, and they're significant debuffs. He can do 100% attack down. He can do 100% int brave down or more. 100% attack down does not mean the bosses are going to do 0 damage. There's some confusion in that. I mean, most of you who are listening to this probably know that, but just to be clear, just because you give a boss 100% attack down doesn't mean their damage will be hitting for 0. They get buffs just like our characters get buffs, right? So that's something that, you just need to be aware of. Some pros for Vincent. In my experience and other people's experience, he's got decent damage with his follow-up now. It's not the best damage, by no means the worst. It is good damage. If you can battery him or bravery gen him with his either Brave Plus, and you can use his Brave Plus because it does an HP dump, or anything else, or his HP Plus. If he's batteried or HP regen, he's fine. Some people are saying they're having trouble with stream. Please let me know. I don't see anything on my end, so let me know if there's any jumps or anything else in stream. Refresh, see if it's working. Can be something on Twitch end as well, but it doesn't seem to be anything on my end. So the attack down buff. So yeah, he does decent damage. He does good damage. The attack down debuff does help bosses hit less hard. So that's good. So that's a viable debuff, and you can stack it with other attack downs. Viable debuff. Int Brave, when you give Int Brave down, that actually resets bosses' break. It kind of unbreaks them, sets their Brave to 0, and you can re-break. So it does basically allow you to break them more often and also then delay their turns more often. Int Brave down is also really good for bosses that get Int Brave shields. So there are bosses like Warrior of Light, who get, who have that kind of effect where they get Int Brave shields. The Int Brave down makes those shields much easier to break. Personally, as a pro, he's one of my top 20 favorites, and he wasn't going to be touched for probably another year. So I get to use him a little bit. And he's got a pretty cool costume, and his LD weapons are really kind of cool. I wish it was Cerberus. I'm still holding out that BT for Vincent's going to be Cerberus. So let me put those in the pros column. All right. So I just don't want to crap on Vincent all night. He's not bad. He is an appropriate character. He can solo Dimensions End, and isn't that the test? Isn't that the test of any great character? He can solo at Dimensions End. That characters without EXs we're using. Yeah. But that's the true test of a character. And so we'll put that in the pros column. He can solo Dimensions End. No, but seriously, in that, so if you are a brand new player, if you just started playing the game, and you like Vincent, he's a favorite character of yours, you're going to be able to use him to complete older content very effectively. So as a newer player, you just started the game during the 3rd anniversary, you watch some other Yahoo streamer, they're like, I'm playing this game, and you're like, wow, I love Final Fantasy VII. I played it on my PlayStation 5 with my granddad, because they played it when it, I get it. And so those kids aren't watching this podcast. So if you are a newer player, there are some good pickups. Belthier, Vincent, Penelo, their guy even, there are some good pickups, Krile, this month. And so Vincent's going to be a good character to help, especially beat current and past content. We'll get to that later. So he's not a terrible pickup if he's a favorite. So Jin Lee just did, I have not had the chance to watch Jin Lee's video. Shout out to our friend Jin Lee. Just did a how to play Vincent. And so I encourage you to go check that video out. And kind of, if you did pull Vincent and maybe you're getting a little depressed about the community hype or the lack of hype or people just kind of crapping on Vincent all day, you can play him. You can play him well in current content. We'll talk about future content in a second. But in current content, he's fine, right? Some cons. And my notes just went because I was trying not to ramble for too long. Let me get my notes back out.
He can burn through abilities really fast if you're not watching what you're doing.
Yeah, you really so here's the big issue. And I've said this since the beginning of the game. Squex and the devs of DissidiaFFOO have never made it a priority to use debuffers and have never made it easier to use debuffers, because as soon as we get a decent debuffer, they just null the debuffs in the next boss fight. And so debuffers have always been kind of the lowest tier of role coverage that you need in the game because they're never necessary. And Mino says debuffs are worthless like tickets, but they are never necessary, and often they're shut out because of boss mechanics or boss immunities, or they're just not very usable. And so one of the issues with Vincent is he is a debuffer. He has 5 debuffs. 4 of them are non-framed. 2 of them, his EX debuff, the framed one, and his attack down, are very short durations. But very truthfully, and again, it'd be interesting to watch Jin Lee's How to Play video. I really do. It's one of my favorite contents is How to Play videos. But you generally, in my playing with him, especially depending on the team you use, you're not going to be going back and forth between skill 1 and skill 2. You're probably going to focus in on skill 1, then focus in on skill 2. You can start the battle with skill 1, get the int brave down, try to do rebreaks, and then end the battle with the attack down, or vice versa, to try to do some combos so that you're not juggling debuffs. But that is a problem. The debuffs aren't showstoppers, and I think that's a problem when it comes to Vincent. So a lot of our other debuffers, Reno has his pyramid debuff. Edward has his sleep debuff. Paralyze shuts out the enemies. Agrius has silence or magic silence or whatever, HP silence. Arciella, Kefka have the HP silence. There are a lot of debuffs in this game that are framed debuffs that bosses can't get rid of that shut them down. Now, often those debuffs are then shut out of fights. Eldenarsh is an example. Terror is a good debuff. But, they all kind of have their unique gimmick. And so when they're good, they're really good. Attack down and int brave down are just kind of generic debuffs. Now, they are good and they do mitigate damage and they give more breaks and they give you different options. But they're not those kind of game-breaking wow debuffs. And so I can understand people kind of being a little bit, He also does good but not necessarily great damage moving forward, because here in the next couple months we're going to get some real heavy hitters. And so his damage is going to taper off pretty quick, I would experience or suggest. Yet to be seen. But I don't think we're going to be impressed with his damage a month from now or 2 months from now, which is fine because most characters last 1 or 2 months. And again, if he's a favorite, you can use him for a little bit, whatever. The biggest issue, and this is Black Nero put out a video today that Vincent sucks. And Vincent's one of Black Nero's favorite characters too. And he pulled for him and got everything as well. But there's a lot of fights over the next 2 months that Vincent will be locked out of because of Elemental Absorb. And unfortunately, Vincent is a elemental character and a debuffer. And so he's going to have some of his debuffs negated, and he's going to have some of his elements absorbed. And so that's going to make playing him difficult, not necessarily impossible. But he will be a handicapped character going into some of these fights, and he will be locked out of some fights completely. And that really sucks as a... It really sucks as a hyped, and we'll talk about this maybe a little bit later in Q&A if we have time, as a hyped GL first character that is a fan favorite. I mean, I love Vincent. Who doesn't love Vincent? And he's going to be shut out of a lot of content. And so, again, that really sucks. Personally, for me, something about... I don't even know what it is. I want to say he feels clunky to play, but I don't even know if that's the right words. He just doesn't feel great to play compared to some other characters we've had that I've been having a lot more fun with. Your experience may be very different. That's just me. That's my personal feeling. I don't even have... That's not logic or anything. That's just my emotional feeling about playing the character. He feels clunky to me. So Necklord is... Necklord's agreeing with me. But
Clunk ain't fun. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of feelings. And so those are my feelings. Again, we don't got to attack each other. We don't, we can all have different feelings on it, different opinions. GL is not used to getting surprise characters. We're not used to getting characters that we don't have months of experience using from the JP community. And so we don't always know how to deal with things appropriately. But I really do. I really appreciate. And there's been some heated conversation among our group of DissidiaFFOO friends about, Vincent sucks versus no, Vincent's great. No, you need to know how to use him. We've had some pretty heated conversations, and there's other heated conversations going on, I know, in the community, but even among our fairly level-headed group of people. And so I know this is a contentious issue. So, but yeah, I know there's a lot of disappointment, and that's okay. You don't have to like what everybody gives you. This is Squex is a business. This is a game. And we'll talk more about Anniversary later.
He is fun, at least.
Who is fun?
Vincent's fun.
Yeah, Vincent is.
He might not be good, but he is fun.
That's good. So yeah,
I like him.
Kreese, talk more about that, about good stuff.
About good stuff like fun. I mean,
fun is good.
I don't know what you want me to say. I just wait. What's Mino saying? They went backwards. Vivi's last tuning pass was June, July. Balthier in spring. Vincent 14 months ago. Sorry, 15 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's bringing up a very good point.
Yeah.
That we're getting LD characters without tuning passes further and further away with their LDs.
It's an old kit.
And that's going to cause problems if they keep doing that and we keep getting these characters with no tuning passes along with them.
No.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Which it is showing the most with Vincent. Balthier got away with it because the LD was very loaded. Vivi got away with it because the LD was very strong and his tuning pass was much more recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was a more recent character, it would work really well. It would probably also throw things off balance even more, which is probably the reason they're not doing it, And they are probably intentionally doing it. They're trying to ride a quick hype cycle, for better or for worse,
Yeah, well, and there's been some conversation about, what do you want another Aranea? And my argument against no, we can't.
You can always hop on the show and argue with us, Mino.
Yeah, you can't get another Aranea because the reason Aranea was so broken in the EX era was because there was no content that locked her out. The only content that locked Aranea out was ranged resist combat content, and then you gave her a enchanter. And so there was nothing that locked Aranea out. We're in the LDBT Luffania era. Every single fight has conditions. Most fights have multiple conditions. And so there's never going to be this super powerful character, even if they gave us Vincent with a rework and a LD board and a BT. Yes, it would be powerful, but there would be content that he would be locked out of, especially given his kit, specifically being an elemental character and being a debuffer. There were all kinds of options for him to be locked out. So, I mean, I don't think it's even possible to get another level of RNA again, just because of the era that we are in terms of there's such synergy bias. The orbs lock things out. That's all it is. So, Mino, what do you need to say?
I mean, I wanted to agree with a lot of what you said. I'll be adding in here and there. I'm trying to keep this as calm as, but we've had like a week to vent on our Discord already.
We've had a lot of time.
We've gotten most of it out. But just to follow up on the thread that you were just going along, is that the whole point of LDBTs and the existence of BTs is that no LD only character is going to stop you from pulling BT characters, 2 week synergy characters, or overshadow anyone. And the whole point of Luffania is that no one character can pull an RNA and carry you for 6 months. Like, this era is so restrictive when it comes to Luffania orb in combat and weapon power creep in 2 week synergies and BTs. You could release an overpowered LD character. It will not stop people from pulling BTs, and it will not shit all over their pull plans. No one can carry you for 6 months in this era anymore. It's just not fucking possible. Like, even if you release Vincent with LD boards minimum, like, I don't know why they're holding back LD boards. If you release them with LD boards fucking minimum, he's still shut out of more than half the fights in the next 2 months. Like, you won't have to worry. You can release him with his rework almost. Okay, you know what? That might be going too far since he's such a late character. But, like, it seems like they're afraid to make these characters strong, which is ridiculous because this isn't Chaos Era anymore.
Right.
The content itself shuts down these characters from running for 6 fucking months. And the whole point is, Transcendence requires double the amount of characters. So you need to pull even more if you want to do the new fucking tower or any Luffania, blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, it's one thing to not do a rework. It's another thing to give us... I mean, with Vincent, I don't know if it's because he's such an old kit or because he's popular that they chose him. But the slap in the face is no LD boards. Like, what the fuck is that? What do they think we're going to do? Throw LD boards on Vincent and run away for 8 months? Like, I don't know. But sorry, Kreese, you wanted to say something?
No, I was just saying I agree with you that Vincent's kit is very janky right now, and no matter what they gave us, unless they're planning like a substantial rework the next tuning pass he gets, I don't know what they could have given him right now that could have made him very good for us, because what tuning pass could he get that would make him useful for the next couple of months if he's going to be elementally locked out or just debuff locked out going forward?
But he's just not. I mean, again, we're still using Gladio and Warrior of Light. Well, they're tanks. We're still using Lightning because she's busted. I can't imagine he would ever fall in those situations, right? As an elemental debuffer, I mean, it's such a weird niche that, like, what could they have done to him that would have made it? That would. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, maybe we're going to be like blown away by Vincent's BT Plus, which I'm still putting in hope for a Vincent BT Cerberus.
I see what Black Cloud is hypothesizing. Maybe a self aura imperil. something like that in
That'd be
either the
awesome.
rework or the LD boards. Maybe.
Okay, so what I was gonna respond to Kreese is if I'll be generous with the benefit of the doubt and say that reworks are too much work. Like if they brought over the rework, it would either be the rework he's gonna get in JP, which is too much, or it would be a half rework, which is what, extra programming, and then they have to fix that or add on top of that. So let's give it the benefit of the doubt and say reworks are too much work. But what they could but for the solution is, as you said with Vincent, he could have came earlier. This order of release is a little odd. I feel like you could switch Vincent with Vivi or Balthier.
I agree.
And it would work out.
Yeah.
Like if you put him with Vivi, he would have been great for a couple of months. If you put him with Balthier, he would have been great for a month. And Balthier would still hold his own. Like I'm sure we're going to see Balthier and Vivi used more than Vincent moving forward.
And if Balthier would have been, like I think Black Cloud said, if Balthier would have been during the Turk month, if Vincent had been during the Final Fantasy VII Turk month with Rude and Reno, he would have been really good at some of those fights and really, really helped at some of those very, very challenging fights. And then Vivi could have launched here, and Vivi, I'm pretty sure, is going to be fairly useful on Tier 20. Maybe not 100% because there's a lot of AoE HP attacks, but I'm going to guess you're going to see some VV clears. I think you're going to see Vincent clears too. I think I'm going to try it myself. But yeah, so I don't know. And we'll never know. But we will know hopefully what Vincent gets with his LD boards, and it will be interesting to see when that happens and be like, well, why didn't we just get his LD boards? Like what? Like why the hell didn't we get his LD boards? Because it probably is not going to be that mind blowing, very truthfully. And yeah. So, I mean, it seemed, and obviously it's, I mean, this isn't about us right now. It's obviously created, they've had to lock down main cord twice. So, I mean, it's obviously created drama within the community. It's got our fairly level-headed group of people that we work with, you know, pretty riled up on different ends, and disagreeing and everything else. So, obviously, this is not a win-win. And I want to talk later about kind of our general impressions of the anniversary, but just in terms of Vincent himself, give him a little extra power, and then, you know, I mean, I'm going to have to change my GL first equals pity equation. You know, the next time we get one, the next
tonight.
Before you move on, Mark, let me touch on that. But go ahead, finish.
No, I'm just going to say I'm going to have to change my equation because, you know, if you're still on the fence, like I'm guessing, I don't know, you can tell me in chat, is there anybody in chat right now who has not pulled and is waiting to hear about what we thought about Vincent before you make a decision about pulling? Now, we probably have some podcast people who fall into that, but I'm guessing zero of you watching us live right now are on, like, waiting to see if you're going to... You already pulled on Vincent, right? Like, I pulled on Vincent. Neck looks like I didn't.
On Vincent that night.
But yeah,
dropped, yeah,
I mean, but if you're on the fence, like if you're in that small group of people on the fence, yeah, you probably just skip, right? I mean, you're not hurting by not having Vincent. Like you're never going to be like going down, even if we can get him through the majority of content over the next 2 months, you're never going to be like, oh, I wish I had Vincent. And that's scathing. I mean, it is really, right? I mean, because there are times I'm like, damn, I wish I had Lightning BT already, because this fight would have been a lot easier if I had, you know, another 1.5 million damage, to not have to worry about bosses for another 6 turns. Or, you know, man, this fight would have been a lot easier if I had Zaz 35, or if I had Aranea, or if I had Beatrix, or just name any of the other ultra meta characters we've had over the years. That's not going to be a thing. You know, you're never going to see. I mean, if that happens, let me know. Like, message me immediately and like, oh, I really wish I had Vincent for this fight. I'm guessing that's not going to happen. And so, yeah, if you're on the fence, don't pull because he's not overwhelmingly good. If you like Vincent, pull. You'll figure out how to use him. If you like debuffers, great. But even our debuff king, Belial. Belial is a great player, TCC Challenge vet. Check out Belial's YouTube channel. We talk about him frequently. Belial's like the Int Brave Down king, right? Like he does the Int Brave Down memes all the time. Even him, I know him and Mino talked. He's like, if you want to do the Int Brave Down thing, like you have to invest. You have to like stack it to 150+%. And then it's like, it's a whole thing. And so, there's other ways to do it. So, yeah, HaateXIII, if you like debuffers, seek help. And that's on the devs. I mean, they just, they either give us debuffers that have really cool mechanics and then they lock them out forever, or they give us debuffers that are just clunky and you don't use them. But yes, Zidane, who really doesn't, rely on debuffs with his next tuning pass whatsoever. He just deletes turns.
He needs them right now, though.
Yeah, he does need them right now. And you can use Zidane in Tier 20. He's I saw Zidane clear, interestingly enough. So, yeah.
All right, Mark. Let me add on one thing, and then I'll end my cameo because I'm done. But basically, to pick up that thread you were saying, not only about your equation. So what I said earlier, if you're just tuning in, was that it really seems like they're afraid to make these characters strong by withholding simple things like the LD boards, at least minimum. But the thing is, we were saying I think it's only, chat, tell me if you disagree. It's only a good business move if they make it strong. We've through the Reddit and the community, we've been seeing this a lot this week, which is, when Beatrix came out as a GL first, she was so strong. Aranea, like as a new player, somebody gave a testament on Reddit. As a new player, I joined when Aranea released, and she helped me get into the game because reaching endgame is so daunting. So being able to do these chaoses and start collecting the resources early was so grateful. Now I have this special attachment to Aranea. I went to go buy
I played 15.
Yeah, I went to go play F15. I bought her costume. I'm going to pity her LD when she comes back. Like, making these characters strong. Come on, Square Enix. TG Sid. The only reason that character is beloved because he's an OP shit stomper. Like nobody knows his story. Or
Yeah,
his
like
personality.
tell me about
dominating the game.
Tell me his background.
That's all it fucking is. Okay, and look. So listen. It's only a good marketing move to make these guys strong. And again, we don't even need OP. Give us the fucking LD boards minimum. And like, making them strong not only creates a lasting impression, and the whole point of Anniversary is that usher in new players, right? This should be a great launching point for they're super strong. The FOMO is even stronger, so that people really miss out on the character they really want to pull. They're like, oh shit, who knows when I'm going to get another chance. And the other thing is they're willing to pull more characters, because like Lightning and Gladio, a lot of people got Lightning and Gladio and said, wow, well, Lightning and Gladio can carry my team for a while, so I can experiment with characters that people are saying pass on, like Guy and Kimari or whatever. But like, strong characters increase team diversity. They encourage you to pull more. And best of all, you perpetuate the equation of GL first equals pity. Like, everyone always said that. Mark said that, but everyone echoed it in the community. Oh, it's a GL first? They get my gems because they're always great. Like, you only stand to gain by making strong units. The reason people are like, oh, you guys are spoiled by Lightning. Well, yes, because Lightning lets you play characters like Vincent. Like, there's a lot of Lufanias Vincent couldn't do without Lightning backing him. And it's only ever a good business move to release these stronger characters, because now a lot of people are second guessing GL firsts. Now the community is flooded with, I don't know if I'm going to pull on the next GL first. Oh, I'm going to wait and see with the next GL first. I'm no longer saving gems for the next GL first. It, like, once bitten, twice shy. Yeah. And people don't trust it anymore. They don't trust the hype machine. They don't trust the GL devs to release a worthwhile investment anymore. That is the biggest damage. And of course, guys, so that was my very toned down Mino rant. I'm going to end my cameo, let these guys get back to the show. But if you want the full thing, you guys always see the off streams. You see my rants on the Discord. I'll see you guys in the post show.
So this to me, I agree with BC. I got to jump in finally. BC, this is a matter of timing. If he had released around like Christmas time, even January, either of those months, he would have been great. He would have been so dope to have around for like Cloud Fury and LDBT time, because he would have actually been very viable in those fights. What else? Okay, so his character type, he's supposed to be like this rushdown character, I feel like. But like, we have a lot of competition in that role. We just got Dark Knight Cecil with LD. We just had Lightning like a while back. We have Squall next month. I mean, it's so bad. It's like I sit here and I'm like, oh yeah, and there's also Vivi, who's really good for rushdown tactics. So I mean, there's just so much competition for this role, and I just don't know if the debuff stacked with that is enough. I hate debuff hoggers. I've already mentioned that. I hated it with HaateXIII. And it's like here though with Vincent, because he's so dependent on those he's pretty dependent on an imperil being up to do a lot of damage. And like that means you can't overwrite his debuffs. Like in some cases it's like, oh, it's not a big deal. I'll just overwrite the debuff, because it's not like you need it, but you need those imperil debuffs. And there's no other characters that are able to really imperil his stuff. Or they're like stuff like Vivi, you know, or Lightning. And it's like, do you really want two fighters like that on your team? I don't know. For me, it just doesn't work. There's just something. It's the fact that you have to work so hard team building with him that bothers me. It can work, but it's not for me. Okay. And I've come to that conclusion. I spent a bunch of tickets trying for him, and thank God to BC and Mino convincing me to go tickets. I'm actually one of those people, by the way, because I've had to pity 4 times, that is now low on gems. I'm on that fence where I can pity characters, but I need to be choosy with who I pity. So bad. I did not go in, because I have this feeling I would have had to go for pity number 5 at this point, and I can't take it. I will rather do that with somebody I know will be very fun to play and will help me with the coming content to come, or the coming content that we know is arriving soon. So yeah, the costume's dope. Attack down's really good if you want to stack it, but it's going to be hard to do that with Vincent because his attack down is only 2 turns, and he also already hogs up a bunch of debuff slots. That's about the end of my opinion, because everything else has kind of been brought up. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, well, let's go to the podcast polls. We did Quetz Zalma of the Materia Bot puts these together for us. It was obviously a surprise, so it didn't get out early. So there's not a ton of engagement, but I'll tell you what we got here. Over 7 servers, there was 1 person willing to pity Ultimicia's BT, 19 LD pities, 15 using gems, 56 tickets, and 28 skipping. So that gives you some sense of the community. Now that's obviously... probably a lot more people did pull, and hopefully if you did, you didn't have to spend too much. That's for sure. So, all right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the where am I? Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the Luffania. We did get an Abyss, a normal Abyss and a hard Abyss, very similar to the Belthier event. So they're fairly quick Abyss events. There's a co-op that goes along with it as well. Vincent doesn't shine in the co-op, I'll tell you that. Ultimicia's LD spam much quicker, and I ran all kinds of different compositions trying to make Vincent work quickly, but long animations and not even damage, not ideal. That's not a testament of how good a character is, by the way. That's just how it goes. Krile saying, anybody feel the fight before the Luffanias was tougher? Interesting. Yeah, because that was the fight before the Luffania. The level 190 was a 3-wave fight, I believe. So, and had a lot of meat on those bosses. So, but we're not going to talk about that, but we are going to talk about the Luffania. So the code, there's been some confusion. This is actually a little bit more lenient than the Belthier Luffania. The code requires a Final Fantasy VII character, 2 white crystal characters, and 1 red crystal character. It does not require a gun user. Gun users have their attack boosted, and white crystal users have their speed boosted. But gun users are not required. You need one Final Fantasy VII character, Vincent, one White Crystal character, Vincent, another White Crystal character, and a Red Crystal character. So there's a lot more options when you're composing a team for this Luffania.
One problem with this is that there are no, as far as I can tell, no FF7 White Crystal characters. Or no Red Crystal. Wait, sorry. Vincent is the only White Crystal character in FF7.
Vincent is the only White Crystal character. Reno is an excellent option for this if you pulled Reno. He is a Red Crystal character and a Final Fantasy VII character. So
yeah, you have Vincent as your
Reno
only
was really
FF7
good.
White, and then you have plenty of Red options. But if you want to bring in FF7 White, that is it.
Yes.
So you're kind of stuck. The real challenge for this Luffania seems to be building a team around the codes and getting everything to kind of fit in properly.
The bosses were 2 crustal beetles, and I'm not making that up. That's what it says in game. They are crustal beetles, not crust beetles. And the orb ticks, the Luffania orb ticks up when a boss takes brave damage from a debuff or debuff effect, like Vincent's overhead effect, or if you want to refine Thancred's sphere, his E-sphere, which you can currently, that also counts. So the orb requirement, fairly easy. You just need to bring somebody that can either equip Thancred's E-sphere or Ferris's E-sphere. The refined sphere is fine, or bring Vincent with his LD. That makes it very, very easy, obviously, but you don't need it. So obviously the other one, you kind of needed Belthier. This one, not nearly as much. So the sphere's fairly easy to deal with. The big thing is they have this hatred power aura, and when they have that active, you just don't want to be broken. So bringing some defensive characters, Warrior of Light is a White Crystal character, for example. There's several ways. You just make sure that you have ways not to get broken. The problem with Vincent is he dumps his brave all the time. So, if you bring Warrior of Light, that deals with that. But there is a fairly wide range of characters. Arrow, how did you tackle this?
Let's see. I used Reno, Penelo, and Guy. I didn't find it too bad, honestly. Guy kind of tanked everything, and because of Penelo's many buffs, because she has the framed buffs now when she's LD, I didn't even get hit with all the debuffs from this boss. And that was nice. I didn't have to deal with the attack down from it, actually. And I think Reno could even wipe the Max Brave one off if he waited a turn and let Penelo buff again. Pretty good stuff. As long as you have a tank and you got 2 White Crystal characters that can tank in Warrior of Light and Guy, this one is pretty tolerable. I've seen all the Red Crystal characters from FF7 get used in different teams. So I have seen Reno clear, Reno being used as the FF7 character. I've seen Yuffie, and I've seen Aerith. So that is testament to how much better and more varied this Abyss already is. So if you can't take Vincent, you've got to take one of those 3 I just listed, because you have to get that Red Crystal requirement in, and the other FF7 characters will not be able to help you fulfill the requirements for the codes.
Yeah, Lardigan's asking, do the beetles not cleanse in the Luffania these were copied from? No, they did cleanse, I believe, in that Luffania, correct? These beetles were changed a little bit. So they do not cleanse their debuffs, or no, they do cleanse at some point, don't they?
No, they do not cleanse at some point. I think they're taken from what I understood, a future boss rush fight. So they do not cleanse, because I think there you had to do something. I think it is sap or something there too. So
got it. Yeah. Boss Rush 3 Wave 1, which of course we are just on Boss Rush 2 later this month, probably. We fought the beetles several times before CSDX, if anybody remembers where we've seen them before. But yeah, we fought them before. I brought Furion, Vincent, and Warrior of Light. Very easy clear, not a problem. Kreese, have you had time for this one?
Sadly, it took me a little longer to get through everything before stream than I thought. I just unlocked the Luffania before we started. I have not had time to do it yet. I had said I thought I would be able to do it this time. I failed.
No problem. Well, let's move on to the current event, which is Dimensions and entropy, and I'm going to do my pulls for Krile as well. Assuming my
Oh yeah, I haven't done my Kryll pulls yet. I guess I can at
assuming
least
my
do
game works here.
an initial pull
Maybe
on
I
it.
won't do my pulls. Maybe I'll record my pulls and do them later because apparently my game doesn't seem to be working. And the last time I did this, it was not real good for me. So hold on, everybody. If the computer dies, just know that I love you. Okay, well, let me try this again. So, just I will not unplug my Elgato from the from the what do you call it? From the computer itself. So, well, looks like I'm not getting any signal on my Elgato. So, that's okay. So we'll continue to talk, and I will go to the announcements because we do have it is now Dimensions and Entropy Tier 20, the final, if you're not aware, the final tier of Dimensions and Entropy. So there will be no more Dimensions and Entropy after this. We will now get another type of Dimensions End, probably whatever they call it. It's called Transcendence in Japan. That will be a different type of content. So Dimensions End Entropy ends at this tier. There is a campaign for this. And so you can get various different rewards if you were not around during the last rewards or you had not played Dimensions End. There is options to get more rewards. There is a new panel. So there's now a third panel for Dimensions End. So you can make sure that you get that panel as well. But if you did not get the previous tiers, tiers 1 through 13, there was 20,000 gems, 1 book, 20 ruins, for 13, and then down all the way. You can see that in the notes. But we are now getting rewards for if you clear Tier 15, Tier 18, and Tier 20. Tier 15 is 7,000 gems, 1 book, and 20 weapon ingots. 18 is 10,000 gems, and this was something Japan didn't get because there was a snafu there. 1 book and 20 nuggets, and 25,000 gems for clearing. So a whole bunch of gems, a whole bunch of books and ingots, and so you shouldn't have any problems with that later. But yeah, so this is the last tier, and a whole bunch of good rewards. So I'm very excited for that. But we got Krile. She got a rework, a level 80, and an LD. So Kreese, why don't you tell us a little bit about what Krile gets? What the heck she's about?
She gets a pretty sizable change because I believe this is where she gets her 80 awakening. She gets a pretty sizable rework with this, and she gets her LD. So pretty substantial changes all around. Her skill 1, Ray of Hope, gets changed, so now it is the base version is now instant turn rate. The plus version is a free turn on top of that. So she can quickly build up her Ray of Hope, along with it just being a much stronger battery, is my understanding.
Yeah.
It still does the greater damage on weakness hits. Skill 2, Thunder, is now many more brave hits, much better overflow. Deals 50% splash damage to other enemies. Still single target brave damage though. So that's what she does on her base kit. Her LD is Cleansing. It's an AoE Brave plus AoE HP attack, executed 3 times. That batters the party based on HP damage dealt. And she also applies Thunder Resist down and a new debuff called Judgment to the enemies. It's a 1-turn debuff that applies a defense down debuff, and upon expiration is basically a trap effect. That batteries her, deals an AoE Brave plus HP effect, batteries the party, or battery based on HP damage dealt, and then applies a Paralyze effect. She also gains her self effect called Sympathetic Heart. Self buff called Sympathetic Heart. It increases her personal int Brave. It also makes it so her own Brave cannot drop below 10% of her max Brave, while also increasing or giving the party Thunder enchant and increasing party attack and Brave overflow by 20%. So she gets some substantial improvements to her party support utility, a way to trigger some traps. Very few times. She only gets 3 of her LD uses. But she gets some additional utility. She's still a very offensive support. Remember that with her EX, she has pretty large bursts of she has big bursts of battery healing on or batterying on every turn an enemy takes or any turn anyone takes. So keep that in mind. Along with that, I think that's everything. Her HP plus has a battery effect for allies on it. And other than that, it's pretty solid. She has no healing, party healing, HP healing on her kit. So keep that in mind. She will need a healer to be paired with her. But she brings battery for days. Just keep in mind that all that battery, or a lot of that battery, is tied to HP damage dealt. Especially quick dual cast is highly, highly dependent on HP damage dealt. And if she is not, or if she's getting resisted or something happens that reduces brave damage substantially, gets a substantial brave damage reduction when she uses quick dual cast, it is going to hurt that substantially. So keep that in mind. That is a big hurt for her. Just be really careful with that. Other than that, her kit is brought up to par. It seems to be reasonable to me. I obviously have not had a chance to test her. Arrow, what are your thoughts on Krile now?
I think she's pretty cool. And hey, she does something very important, guys. She will work very well with our other new global first, if you are a Vincent fan, because she does do that Thunder Enchant. And I think her debuff shouldn't get in the way. Now I think about it. My favorite part is that she can't be broken now unless it's like, I think like an instant break, because she always will keep at least 10%, I think, of her brave or something like that, some weird number. But that means also that helps her damage with her EX, which we know can hit like kind of bad sometimes if you don't build around it. But now it's a lot better because now she's going to have that little bit of extra damage because she's always going to maintain, like, hold that little bit of brave, and that's that little bit more extra battery. Oh, my other favorite thing is this lady is so good when you call, like, you use her EX and then you go into your burst, you're getting that Kryll battery from that EX the whole time. Best thing ever. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I haven't played her. I did not get her in my free pull. Very sad, but it is what it is. Mark, I'm going to pass it back over to you.
Yeah, she's Enchant and Peril. Obviously, lightning's a very common element. She does good battery. She's got some utility. Yeah, she would not overlap with Vincent. Now that you say that, Arrow, that's a good point, because they would share one generic lightning and peril. And so all 6 of their buffs, they would have 2 frame buffs and 4 generic buffs if all the buffs were active at the same time. So you wouldn't have to do any buff juggling, and the lightning and peril would be refreshed throughout the fight appropriately without any issue. So she's actually a pretty good companion for Vincent. She's going to battery him. She's not going to provide any healing, so that's going to be an issue. But you can use another support as well, and you run Vincent as your primary damage dealer. So yeah, I mean, if you're pulling characters to make Vincent viable, then you gotta question. But I think she's a good pull, especially if you're gotta throw some tickets or you get her kit on a free draw. So still hoping for Ultimisha PT myself, but I shouldn't think she's a good pickup. She's obviously we're going to talk about tier 20. She's very well tuned to tier 20. If we look at the podcast polls for Krile at the moment, among 13 servers, that's pretty impressive. 1 person willing to pity Ultimisha BT, 11 using gems to pity the LD, 3 using gems haphazardly, I guess. I don't know what that option really means anymore. 99 tickets and 33 skips. I know we know Arrow is trying to save some resources. Kreese, are you planning to skip Kryll as well?
I haven't decided yet. I have a lot of tickets, so I might drop some tickets on this banner.
She's definitely tier. So So just moving into
I
tier
like
20.
FF5 characters.
Yeah. And she does, she's a good companion to the FF5 characters as well. Moving into tier 20. So tier 20 is not Luffania. It is a chaos difficulty, but it's kind of like a Luffania in that there's different phases. You kind of need to be aware of the different phases, even though there's 2 waves. The second wave has 5 phases. So it is a little bit of a trickier fight. It is the blackened will fight. So you start with 1 blackened will with the 2 blackened bonds. You want to kill the adds, the bonds, as quickly as possible because they heal the boss. They prevent the boss from taking damage, as he'll still take damage, but they prevent the boss from taking a lot of damage, and they make the boss's attacks more aggressive. So you want to kill the adds as quickly as possible, and it is a pretty tanky boss. The adds can respawn or revive. That can be a really pain in the ass, but focus on that. Then you go to Wave 2. Wave 2 is the bigger, scarier Blackened Will that we fought in the story. It revives 5 times. And each time it is a different mechanic. So the first time, Realm is on this banner too? That's good. I need her. Wish me luck for random EXs that I would never use. Wave 2, Phase 1. Reduces brave damage taken, but increases elemental damage taken. If you kill it the first time, it will fully heal, move to the next phase. The second wave, high brave damage reduction, but the boss and the party get increased brave gain. So that's a phase you want to battery through. So again, Krylle does elemental damage. She imperils and enchants the party, and she am I off Discord here? I'm not sure why you're not hearing me in Discord. Kreese, can you hear me? There's no reason you shouldn't hear me in Discord. What's going on here? What did we do? Okay, maybe hold on a second. Okay, everybody, just bear with us. I know we're having some technology things here. I'm losing my things to Discord. Can you hear me? Yeah, you don't want to turn the computer off and on. I disconnected from Discord here. Am I still live on stream? Can you folks hear me? Yeah, edit it out, Pierre. I'm not doing that these days. Yeah, you can hear me in stream, right? That's what I'm more interested in. My Discord is disconnected, so I'm going to try to get out of Discord and do this again here. So, my Discord was not connecting, so I lost voice in Discord for some reason. Woo, that's fun. Apparently we just went too much talk. Squawks were canceled. Hey, thanks for everybody listening at home. This is exceptionally fun material. So, I'm relogging into Discord. We do voice on Discord, so I know they can't hear me. So give me a minute there. I'll keep going through the fight as I'm trying to relog into Discord. So Wave 2 is high brave damage reduction, but the boss and party get increased brave. So you want to battery through that phase. If you get broken in Phase 3, pretty much wipes your party. So that's a really defensive phase. Don't get broken during that phase. Wave 4, don't let the boss get a turn. Kill them as fast as you can during Phase 4, because if it gets an attack, it will wipe your party. Wave 5 starts with an AoE HP attack, does some damage. The second AoE all attack is just a normal attack. The third one will kill you. Again, make sure you kill it before it gets its third attack in. So, I'm having problems with Discord, Arrow, and Kreese if you're listening to the stream. So I'm not sure what's going on with Discord, but I'm having issues with Discord. I'm trying to log in at the moment. So, so that's the fight. So it's 2 waves, Black and Will, but you need to make sure that you're checking it out. Black Nero has an excellent video on YouTube if you're interested in more information. The Tonberry Troupe, of course, has infographics for Vincent. Just great job, guys, the Tonberry Troupe, getting that infographic out. And then for Krile, if you're interested more on that. And so, yes, there's Wave 5 didn't start with an AoE HP attack, but that's its first all attack will be an AoE HP attack. Its second all attack will be just an AoE attack, I think, and the third one will kill you. So it doesn't start with it, but Wave 1 does start with an AoE HP attack. That is good to know too. So do realize that it will start there as well. So all right, well, yeah. So I'm gonna pause this for a second and kind of do things. Think one thing at a time here. While I don't have anybody on, as my Discord is not connecting for some reason, so I've lost my co-host. But I did want to talk a little bit while I got the all of you listening. I did want to talk a little bit about the third anniversary. So we've had the third anniversary. It was a weird month where there was going to be 8 days with no content. It was the Ultimecia. Ramza, Ramza's really good. Ultimecia kind of so-so. She kind of gets crept pretty good here. And so it wasn't a super hype month. There's a lot of good supports coming out, but, nothing particularly game-breaking. And so I'm thankful for Squex in this way, that the 2 Abysses and the 2 GL Firsts, and even the weird Twitter trivia stuff, it kept us engaged with the game. I haven't felt at all like there's been any downtime. I haven't felt like there's been any lull in content. It's pretty been consistent content. And so I am thankful for what we got, because it did make things interesting. Obviously, I wish Vincent was better or stronger than he is and would last a little bit further into content. But we got Belthier. Belthier is great. We are getting a whole bunch of free rewards. We got some free Chocobo panels, some, the Abyss content was what it was. The Belthier one was a little over-tuned to Belthier. Vincent won a little bit more freeform, fairly short events, so it is what it is. But I will say that, it gave us some things to talk about, good or bad or indifferent. At least it was something, because if we didn't get that, it would have just been, kind of a blah month. And so, I was joking on Discord. Squex got $160 from me this month, from Balthier's costume, Pinello's costume, Vincent's costume, premium Moogle Pass, and the dumb Cactar gun. So, in terms of me telling Squex, this anniversary was a bust, that's ridiculous. I just gave them $160, which is far more than I spend on the game in most months. Now, I do get a little bit money back through content creation, so it's not hurting me at all. But yeah, I mean, if you want to make a statement, obviously don't buy the stuff. And moving forward, if you're not impressed with the GL Firsts, don't pull immediately. Take your time and don't do it. But I am thankful for the content we got. Still looking to see if Discord, where's your, I did give you some. I gave you a present. I gave you a coffee. Yeah, so I don't know. You guys are all with me in chat. What did you think of the No, Cactar gun is not dumb. I actually think it's cool. I have it equipped on Belthier. I have not equipped it on Vincent. I like Vincent's LD gun actually a lot. Again, I would prefer Cerberus. I'm a big Dirge of Cerberus fan. It's a ridiculous game, but I love it. And so I'm a big Vincent fan. I love Dirge of Cerberus. I may be one of the only people alive who's played that game. But I've not put the Cactar on Vincent, but I do have it on Belthier. I think it's hilarious. And I love Belthier's piratey shirt costume, and all the Final Fantasy XII costumes I think are fun. So except I don't think I have Gabranth with his helmet off costume, but yeah, no, and the weapon gloss is a little cheaper if you want to support the game and don't want to do that. But yeah, so yeah, friends. I'm not sure what's going on with Discord, so I apologize for that. I think we will cut it because I don't have gameplay, so I can't. It's just technology has just gone crazy. So that's okay. Sometimes that happens. We weren't even sure we were going to have a show. We'll figure out what's going on with the technology. I'm really not sure if it's just connection. Although this connection seems fine. There might be something going on with Discord. Obviously, there's something going on with my Elgato game capture device. But good luck to all of you. Tier 20, we'll talk a lot more about it next week. And this Monday is the Squex community stream, so you'll be able to go and check that out. Squex, Joshua, and Glacy. We're going to get the lowdown on everything next month. And that's going to be awesome. So, an hour and 20 minutes isn't short, especially when things crash. But thank you all for listening. Check out tccpodcast.com. Join our Discord. Go check out our YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We'll hang around. Maybe we'll be able to do something on the post show. Mino will jump on with the post show and see if his Discord's working. But thank you all. I really appreciate all of you making this community great, supporting this podcast, supporting us, Arrow, Kreese, Mino, myself, all of our friends who make wonderful, wonderful content, better content than I make. And so just support them. Their links will be in the below as always. All these cool people who do these great runs. It's going to be awesome to see all these things for Tier 20. Have fun. Enjoy the game. We might have a few days off. Relax. Don't stress out about a game. If you're not having fun, put it down, walk away. Some of us like the drama and we like talking about it because it gives us something to do. But if it stresses you out, put it down, walk away, come back to it until you're having fun. This has been episode 140 of the Crystal Chronicles, recorded this February 18, 2021. For Mark, Arrow, Kreese, Mino, good luck on Tier 20. Good luck on your Krile and Vincent polls. And we'll see you all next week for another episode of the Crystal Chronicles. Goodbye.